What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 43 of Lyon Live here in Football Manager 2019. Hopefully you guys are good. Today we're going to be kicking off Season 3 here at the club. We have our first game, which is the the kind of Community Shield equivalent in France, the Trophée des Champions. Not how you speak French, Jack. But yes, we're going to be taking on PSG today. We've also got Rennes and Barcelona. Now, we might get on to those games. A lot of that will depend on how active we are, I think, in the transfer window today. But before we go any further, quickly today I just want to set up our coaching because we have got a few players who we are yet to sort out their assignments for. A lot of these are players who were out on loan last year who are coming back. So yeah, a little bit of admin work to do, I guess, before we get started. For a player like Markovic here, we're going to just focus on his quickness and his ability as a ball-playing centre-back. I do feel like this guy is kind of our third/fourth choice centre-back this year. Obviously, we've got Gnan on, and we've also got Militao who can fill in there, but he's a very, very good player, is Markovic, so we want to make sure he's on the right training, and I think that's going to be good for him. You can see here, Fekir is also currently not set up with his training. I feel like I've set up his training before, so I'm not sure what the deal is there, but we're going to go with that deeper centre-mid kind of position for him. But in terms of additional focus, I don't think there's anything really worth focusing on. I'm not expecting to see a lot of improvement in Fekir in the next few years. He's kind of at a point now where he's as good as I could hope for. Anyway, let's go through some of our players here who have the best potential, although you can see, looking at it, most of them are already set up. So well done, past Jack. You did something good, apparently. That sounded really sarcastic to myself. I didn't mean it like that, Jack. Now I'm just having an argument with myself. Let's move on. And, well, it looks like actually here again, we've kept largely on top of things. I feel like as we've signed players, we have attempted at least to sort out their kind of, you know, contracts and their training. I'm just wondering here, are there any players with contracts expired? Yaya Sumare, I'm going to just terminate your contracts. I'm sorry, mate. It's just not worth it. I noticed there's a few players here who are ineligible for the under-19s because they're too old. So you chaps here, congratulations, you're all now in the reserve squad. Gronley and Markovic as well. You are no longer available for the under-19s. I'm sorry. You're too old. You're overaged. This is a under-19 zone only. I feel like I'm throwing kids out of like a play park, you know, where it's for a certain age group. But, I mean, looking at our reserve team here, we are in a good little spot. All these younger players here who are in the reserve team, we're going to make available for the under-19s as well, although I would expect a lot of them are going to be making regular appearances in the reserve team this year as well. Of course, we have now got the fourth tier of France loaded, so expect them to feature fairly regularly. You can see our kind of team here on the whole is a little bloated. There's players here who I could probably just get rid of on freeze, so that's what we're going to do. You know, some of these probably do have a little bit more of a value, but really I just kind of want to have a bit of a clear out. I probably should have kept hold of Anawa looking at it, but further down here, there's certainly some players who I think we can move on. Dorian Grange. He's okay, 24 years old, but he's just never going to play for us. He's 24 years old. We can move him on. He's just eating up a spot in our reserve team. Gronley we're looking to sell. This guy, Brau Gillard, unfortunately, just not really good enough, so we'll offer him out. We've already offered him out, apparently. Let's offer him out for nothing and see if anyone is interested. We've got here Adam Yousufi. He's okay, not blown away. Again, we'll offer him out for free and just see if anyone is interested, I think. But, yeah, there's players here who are okay, like Nkunku, Kenilala, but I don't know. There's some players here who I don't see them really ever playing a role in the first team at all. Players like Rio Griffiths here. He's on £8,000 a week. He's just never going to play for us, at least as a regular first-team player. So with that in mind, let's try and get him out of the club. This guy, Paul, he looks okay, but again, just not quite good enough for us. I'm sure in real life he could turn into a squad player for Lyon, but in our current predicament, at least, he is underwhelming. And players like Soleil here on a lot of money will offer him out too. I mean, really, we're just kind of purging the reserve team at this point. But I do think it's worth doing. It's a shame because there are players here who you kind of think, oh, maybe he could come good. but I have to consider just how many players we've got who could come good. And what I'm really looking for is players who could come great. And a lot of these players on this list probably aren't that. This guy actually looks okay. We'll keep hold of him. Frank Rivolier. What have we got him trained as? A poacher right now. Let's change it to advanced forward. He looks okay. We'll keep hold of him. I don't mind having a massive reserve team, especially with a lot of the younger players who can play for the under-19s, but at the same time we do need to have a little bit of a sort out. One more thing that we need to do before we go anywhere today is cancel this offer for Milo. Some of you guys pointed it out in last episode. I offered his agent like £8 million a week, unintentionally, not a week, sorry, that would be a lot of money, but like a flat agent fee of £8 million. That was a misclick. He's good, he's not that good, so we're just going to cancel that offer for now. Of course, we've got a number of other players we are still looking to bring in. I feel like Aneda would be a very, very good addition in the attacking department, age 17. Belotti on loan would be an interesting one, just because I feel like he'd probably be worth having on loan. It kind of indirectly weakens PSG a little bit, and he could add a lot to us. There are some other players and teams interested in him, so I don't necessarily know if we'll get him, but we'll give it a go. Anyway, you can see here, this is our kind of quote-unquote best 11 for the year. This is what, at least on the face of it, I think is our best team. So let's save this before we go any further. It's a good little team, to be fair, but we are going to be missing a few players for this first game. You can see Mendy is out suspended at left back. So we're going to bring in Moreno at left back and have Lala on the bench. Bertrand Traoré is coming back from that long-term injury he suffered at the end of last season, so he's not available. We'll bring in Saint-Maximin for him, of course. Just as a reminder, Traoré's injury, a torn thigh muscle. I'm hoping that he's going to recover by the start of the season, but it's going to be a little bit touch and go. Anyway, I realise I accidentally put in Mario Ferreira there, not Saint-Maximin, so let's fix that. Due to the injury to Bertrand Traoré and the international duty of Trincao and Keane, we don't actually have that many good attacking options with Mendy loaned out and also DJ suspended. This is another reason why I'm thinking I would like to bring in Maulida. I know there was quite a lot of discussion in the comment section about this guy. You know, why would I go for him? I don't really need more attacking players. Firstly, he's predicted to be the top goal scorer in the league this year. You know, he's odds-on favourite. Secondly, he got 22 goals last year playing for Nice. And if we just look at where Nice finished, they didn't do that great. You can see they finished down in 13th. He got 21 of their 60 goals for the season. He's homegrown at club. He's only 21. And if we do get rid of Georgilin, we are only going to have, if we just look at homegrown status, we're only going to have 5 homegrown players at club. If we get rid of Georgilin, one of them is Fekir, one of them is Toussaint, 2 players who have had a lot of interest in them, have had bids on them. And so, with that in mind, there is a little bit of a risk that we could be short of homegrown players for the Champions League. Because, of course, if we just look at the Champions League, of course, as a reminder, we need, I don't know why it's not showing all the rules, but we basically need... well, we need 4 homegrown at club players, and there is a risk that we could run dry of them at a certain point. So I feel like a 21-year-old who's homegrown, who plays a position that, as you can see here, when we do have a few players missing, we are definitely light on the ground for. It kind of just makes sense. I will say, if we were to sign him, I would probably cancel the transfer of Belotti. It would kind of make a lot of sense. I know Olmo could technically play out wide, but he's not the paciest of players. And right now we're training him to play as a centre mid, because I feel like that's something he could do for us alongside Aouar. You know, despite their similarities, they're 2 players who are very much, I feel like, suited to play down the spine of the team. Anyway, you can see here, Mario Ferreira is now out on loan, so let's move him to the reserves. But I guess we'll just have Bertrand Traoré on the bench. We just don't have another striker to have on for this first game of the year. Fitness on the whole isn't too bad, which is good. A few players lacking a little bit of match sharpness. Obviously been not so active in pre-season. A few of our players were, of course, on international duty as well over the summer. So maybe got to be a little wary of that. But a chance here for us to stretch our legs and see what we can do. I mean, PSG's team is better than last year. They've signed Hernandez at left back. They've signed Semedo at right back. They've then brought in Rodri at centre defensive mid. And they've also brought in Paul Pogba. Man, they are going to be so difficult to beat this year. Like, for real, it's going to be a super hard season. They are not going to bottle it like they did last year. I'm expecting a much harder fought season here against PSG. I mean, we've proven we can beat them once, but given our current net transfer spend, which I now want to check, what is our net transfer spend? I'm actually curious. It's definitely positive, right? Yeah, our net transfer spend is we've made 50 million. I would really like to have some of that money back to reinvest, especially whilst our board are kind of counting the £170 million they kind of just have mound up in the bank. I'm thinking a bit like the Scrooge McDuck, you know, DuckTales, like a silo full of money. That's kind of the situation here at Lyon at the moment. Anyway, Pogba making his debut hits a very good free kick. Wallace was off the pitch at the time. Would it have made a difference? Would he have been tall enough in the wall to block the shot? I will let you guys decide. Could Lopez have done better? I mean, Pogba's hit that so powerfully that it's very difficult for the keeper to get across. Let's try and bounce back anyway. We're going to start here, just inside our own half. It's going to be Alberto Moreno to be the difference maker, perhaps. Goes to Wallace, who doesn't look like he's carrying a knock, which is good news considering he had to come off. Through to Gabels. Lovely ball. Can he finish it? It's blocked away. That was apparently a clear-cut chance. I'll let you decide if it actually was. Apparently Pogba is pulling the strings out there. He's on a booking. I mean, let's just aggravate him and try and get him sent off. I realise we're playing the direct attacking style of play here. Debate to say I should have started with the more kind of defensive midfield. But at the same time, we're not completely out of this game yet, and we've created the best chance of the game. Unfortunately, our finishing has been a little bit lacking, and now we could get hit on the break. It's going to be Bailey down this right side, pulls it to Verratti. He smashes it over. You know what? We're not creating enough. I'm going to switch to the more defensive kind of free centre mid system here. I feel like that probably is the right thing to do right now. I was hoping we'd start the game a little sharper than we have. We've been kind of not really at the races. Anyway, we've made a tactical change. I'm hoping that this is just the pointless highlight and that they're not about to score against us before our change can take effect, because that would just be a little bit annoying, wouldn't it? Is this just the pointless highlight? I really hope it is. Mbappe to Neymar. They've got Mbappe, Neymar, Pogba, Leon Bailey. It's such a mental team, this PSG team. They've got Semedo and Lucas Hernandez at left back and right back. It's going to be so difficult to beat them this season. The more I think about it, the more difficult it's going to be. They've added 3 or 4 kind of massive first-team players to their team. Pogba at the edge of the box here, blocked away. Hernandez was apparently offside there. I mean, is this switched to full game? It hasn't switched to full game. We're just having highlight after highlight. I mean, is this the bit where I now regret immediately going for the more defensive system, kind of the pressing system where we are willing to give up the ball? It's not, because the highlight ends, but there is another set piece here, and I mean, that is shocking. It can never get that low in the box from the corner. Someone has got to deal with it. It's a ball into the box for Leon Bailey, who was stood on the goalkeeper. He's not known for his jumping ability, the Jamaican winger. He's just tapped it home. I do not know what we've done there. Really, really poor play. PSG 2 goals to the good, and we've not really been at the races. We could do with a goal now with a minute left of the half to steady the ship, but, well, instead it's going to be PSG bringing it forward. Semedo tries to get the ball in. It's blocked back with Leon Bailey, though. Let's hope that this is not kind of the precursor for this season. I don't want to have a season where we're trailing PSG, not after the successes of last year. Lucas Hernandez on this left-hand side crosses it into Leon Bailey. He just gets another header. It's 3-0. Maybe after this I can ask the board for some money. Maybe I can warn them about the fact that, if PSG are going to spend £200 million and you're not going to give me the money to spend, we're going to have problems. Even if we bring in Maulida, our net spend is still going to be, well, massively, massively positive. About 15 million positive, but you've also got to factor in the Dembele £40 million we received. Maybe a late chance to end the half here. Maybe we can get just an opportunity back into this Fekir to Gabels. He's got to bang that. He does bang it. That could prove crucial. That puts us back in touching distance. Not sure where the ref got the 52 extra seconds from. I guess the celebrations from PSG's goal ran on a little bit. But either way, Fekir with the assist. Gabels, at least good to see him open up his tally for the season with a goal. Fekir of course, getting the assist. And maybe there's just a little bit of a fight back on the cards. Maybe there is still life in the old dog yet. Despite that late goal, I feel like we have to go with the shouty team talk. Boys, not good enough. Show me something else. Show me what you can do. Hopefully we can, you know, bounce back now. Hopefully we can find our feet. I mean, I'd like to think we can find our feet. They're at the end of our legs. But, you know, I guess given how this first half's gone, you wouldn't know if our players knew where their feet were or what they were. But, well, if we could get another now, 2 goals either side of half-time in quick succession could be huge. It's a ball over to Gabels. He's already got 1. Can he finish again? Well, narrowly wide. You would have probably hoped he'd score that 9 times out of 10. It was a great little ball through by Fekir as well, who was looking for his 2nd assist of the match. Saint Maximin has played awful out on the right. So we're going to take him off and bring in Olmo. I'm also going to bring in Aouar on the left for Depay, who's also been poor. Getting some fresh legs in the wide areas. Half an hour left. We're only 2 goals behind. If we could score in the next 10 minutes or so, we're really going to give a bit of squeaky bum time and a bit of tension, I guess, to this tie. Let's look for a large spell like PSG of just going to run away with it comfortably. And while with goalkeeping like that, they might well win this game. Lopez, what were you doing? I'm glad that he saved it. If Mbappe had kind of chipped him from 45 yards out, there would have been hell to pay after his kind of pass out from the back. Might not be completely away from danger. Pogba and Rodrigo having their own little game at the back, at the edge of the box. Fortunately, that is going to be the end of the highlight. I want to be kind of positive and be like, well, we've played better since we've changed systems, but the reality is we haven't. I'm not even trying to dominate the possession with the possession-orientated system. Instead, we're going to go back to the direct attacking one. We need goals, boys. Going to demand more from the players and also switch to very attacking for the last 15 or so minutes here. We need a mini miracle. We've made some changes. I'll be honest, they've not really changed the game as I hoped. And well, it looks like we're going to draw the second half 0-0 unless there's a very, very late chance here. But ultimately, I can't see us scoring 2 goals in the remaining 65 seconds. So we are going to be tapping out here. If we can make it 3-2, it looks more competitive than perhaps it was. Unfortunately, Militao's ball into the box there is almost certainly going to ensure it remains 0-0. Or 0-0 or 0-0 for the half, I guess. 3-1 on the actual night. Unless Mbappe scores now just to take that away from me. He's hit the woodwork. Don't let him get the rebound. We've given away a penalty. It goes from bad to worse. Is Moreno going to get sent off for this? Mendy was suspended for this game, so we were already without a first choice left back. I think Moreno knows what's happening here. It's not great. It's a 2nd yellow card for him. Fortunately, it's come when the game is already dead. Now we just look at Lopez to at least give us a positive to end the game on, maybe in goal. Can he make 1 save? Leon Bailey stepping up for the hat-trick. He gets the hat-trick. 4-1, it's going to finish here. Really disappointing display. We didn't look at the races at all. You do wonder how much of this performance was inspired by some of the new additions to the PSG side. They are a better team than the team we lost narrowly to at the end of last year in the French Cup. And no matter how this season goes from this point onwards, I just don't see a world in which they are going to lose 12 games like they did last year. The black confetti that we are becoming familiar with drops from the sky. I'm far from happy, boys. That is not how we wanted to start the season. Now we have to just reset a little bit with the next game kind of in mind. Anyway, Eder Militao made his debut. Moreno banned for 1 game. Got a few offers for players. Soleil's had an offer for him. Bard has also had an offer for him from Monaco, oddly enough. I mean, if Monaco are interested, could he actually be good? I don't know. I don't think he's ever going to be good enough for the first team. We've got better, younger kind of fullbacks, I feel like, in our ranks. Really, when I think about it, I should have been offering out our reserve players based off positions and the positions we have a lot of players in. You can see here, we do have a fair few left backs. I feel like even with Bard going out, we've got Ndika Matam, who's available. And we also have Anabe, who's okay, although we're also offering him out. But yeah, we're streamlining things down just a little bit. I do want to ensure that even with all the new kind of younger players we're bringing in, that we do still have quite a good French core to the team. That is still very much the case, at least at the moment. I mean, to be fair, even in the first team, it's very much the case. You can see here, Fekir down to Mendy. 11 players in our first team are French. We then got 3 Portuguese players, 3 Serbians, 2 Spaniards, an Italian, a Dutchman. I mean, Burkina Fasoian. That's almost certainly not. What is someone from Burkina Faso called? I now want to know. Burkinabe. I wouldn't have known that if it came up in a pub quiz. I know it now. And then, of course, a few Brazilians and Lucas Romero, who is part Italian, so doesn't count for our non-EU player limit. Right, no offers for 7 players. I mean, that's not looking great. Our data analyst facilities have been upgraded, so that's a plus. Can we ask for some more money yet? The answer is no. Maybe I could ask for a new contract. I've brought success to the club. Okay, I'm just gonna bow down. I did think about issuing the ultimatum of, I don't know if I can continue on. Don't think it would have gone down that well, really. So yeah, we've got a few of the players who are kind of scouts have been recommending that we're looking at. I think Aneda for me is the best of the bunch. I really, really like him. At 16 years old, I think he's got a big, bright future ahead of him. Marco de Jong could also be a good little player. You know, I feel like these players we're looking at aren't asking for the craziest fees ever, which is quite nice. I would still like Vinicius Jr., but I don't think there's a world in which it could possibly happen. Decore has currently got a bid on him. Decore is a very good centre mid. We talked about needing a centre mid perhaps. How does he compare with Ndombele? That's what I want to know. I mean, they're kind of different in a weird way. There's not a great deal between them. I think, given Ndombele's age, if I was to sign Decore, it would still be Ndombele who would start matches, but they'd be good competition. Potential issue with Kamara. He might want to leave due to lack of first-team football. I'm probably going to have to move him on. He's been a good player for us, but I just don't think he's ever going to play enough. And it's like another time that he's complained. He's complained a lot in very quick succession. I'm hoping that with his relatively low wage demands, it won't be too difficult to shift him on. Although we did ask for more money than perhaps we should have done. He's valued at 3.4 million. Let's offer him out for 3.4 and just see if we get any nibbles whatsoever. A few of our players are having loan offers, but we literally can't loan out any more players. In terms of captain, we're going to go with Fekir. Vice-captain, we are going to stick it out with Toussaint, I think. I'm complaining about the fact the board won't give me any money. Of course, we've got the Mao leader transfer that could happen. But if we actually look at the transfer kind of list, there's plenty of players here who could be of use to us and significantly kind of good enough to make I don't know, a name for themselves in our first team. Some of it is just down to age. Of course, Aaron Ramsey, because we're not on the January update, he's not moved on. He's still kicking it around at Arsenal, although he is looking for a move. Just wonder if there's anyone here who's really good. Corona's a pretty good wide man. He's not the youngest player in the world. Let's have a look. Are there like any very, very good kind of 23-year-olds and younger transfer listed? Charlie Mastonda, McTominay. Alex Garcia's an interesting one. Okay, he's not as good as I thought he was. I remember when he was really hotly tipped a few years ago. I feel like it was quite uncommon to see him actually develop in FM despite that. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm not underwhelmed. I'm not overwhelmed at what's being given to us. I'm just whelmed by what I'm witnessing here. There's some okay players, but there's no one super great. Although Isaac's success could be an interesting one. Again, thought he was a little bit better than he was, but we'll get a scout report on him anyway. You can see there's also Filip Krovinovic, who has asked for a transfer from Benfica. How does he compare to Olmo? I'm curious. I feel like Olmo is significantly better, but I almost want to find out. Oh my gosh, our team is very, very large, isn't it? Where is Olmo? Why could I not compare you to Olmo? What about Aouar? Is Aouar on the list? He is. You can just see Aouar's just better in every way. He's not bad though at 24. Bustos is transfer listed by Milan for 21 million. See, if Mendy was to force a move, Bustos wouldn't be the worst replacement in the world in terms of a versatile kind of fullback option for the bench. But he is on a fair whack of money. See, I wonder about Giovanni Lo Celso. I'm not sure if that's actually how you say his name, but he's a good, consistent performer. Can play centre mid, which is a position we have been talking about maybe needing a player extra or two in. And considering he plays for PSG, his wages really aren't the craziest. We'll get a scout report on him, I think. Marco de Jong set to join us from Ajax for 3.2 million. I think that's a good little investment for the future. We'll go with that. I'm just worried that some of these transfers might impact our ability to actually be able to afford Maulida. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, you know. I'm hoping by that point I can ask the board for some more money. Anyway, we've got a few more scout reports on some of those youngsters we were scouting who were playing at the Euro under-19s. Just keep an eye out for any stars. Adiwale Sunday Okorowanta, or Okorowanta. He does look very good, doesn't he? I do wonder if Atalanta, like the reason that they want to keep hold of him is because he is really, really good. I don't know if I can justify spending the £20 million required to pry him from their grasps. That's kind of the only issue right now. But anyway, the league season's kind of coming up thick and fast here. More players that we've got loan offers for. I can't loan out any more players to domestic clubs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just can he do it, Captain? What am I talking about? What was that? Can he do it? What is that a quote from? Is it from Chicken Run? I don't even know. What a film, by the way, Chicken Run. Deserves a sequel. I'm going to campaign for it now. In fact, in a weird way, I feel like there is a sequel being done for it and I just can't remember it. I'll say now, if you're sat there thinking, what's Chicken Run? Go watch the movie. I don't know if it's on Netflix or where you can find it. Go to Blockbuster and get the DVD of it and rent it out. Gabriel Jesus is very good, but I just can't justify spending as much money as it would be required to sign him. Especially if we were to bring in some of the players we're already looking at. Maulida delayed. We don't have the money for it. But we do have the money for Aneda, so it's fine. Yeah, we'll delay that for a week. So Aneda's going to join us for 3.8 million. I think that is value in the market. I will let you draw up your own conclusions. Of course, it's 2.8 million up front and then a potential 3 million more in clauses. But I think it just makes sense as a bit of business. Very, very good young player. I'm not sure if him and De Jong are actually going to join us immediately. In fact, it looks like he is going to join us immediately. Did De Jong join us immediately as well? I guess he did. We should do his introduction too. Maybe I missed that inbox item. Romero, can you welcome him to the club? Good man, Lucas. Good guy, Lucas. Where is De Jong? Where is De Jong? Where is he? Find him. Okay, he's in the reserves. In terms of what role I want to play him in, part of me's like, oh, he could play right wing back, but no, he's definitely more of an actual kind of wide natural player. I think we'll train him to play right mid. He's already competent there. It'd be good just to get him natural in it, just in case we ever need it. And I think we'll put his focus on inverted winger just to help kind of give him some real kind of well-roundedness, just to his overall kind of, I guess, ability. He's a very well-rounded, balanced player, and that's something that would be good to keep in his game, I feel like, going forward. Anyway, we didn't set up the the training yet for Aneda. So let's do that. I feel like for this guy, it's a bit of a no-brainer. It's going to be complete forward on attack. I just want him to improve absolutely everywhere. I think for a specific focus, we'll put it on his quickness. 11 acceleration is a little bit lacking and it can be difficult to improve. So while he's young and he's still got a spring in his step, it's probably the best time to train his pace. Anyway, Belotti's going to go to Milan. I didn't expect to get him in truth, so I'm not going to lose too much sleep over that. How's Olmo doing in training? The squad's less desirable characteristics have had an influence on him lately. Don't tell me this. Don't tell me this. Aouar's out to start the season. That's always good. Let's just look. If we pick our best 11 here. When's Moise Kean back from international duty? In 2 days. So he's going to miss the first game of the season, guaranteed. So DJ, it's a big moment for you, my friend. You are going to be, at least for now, our backup striker. With Moise Kean out. Bertrand Traoré still coming back from injury as well. Probably isn't ready to start. And then Lala can go on the bench for the suspended Moreno. I feel like when you look at our team, it's a pretty good team, if you ask me. It's a good young team. A team ready for a future of hopefully glitz and glamour and success. That's what I'd like to believe is going to be in the future at the very least. Anyway, Gabel's putting a good performance in training. We'll give him a little bit of a praise. I've ignored it the last few times it's come through. He looks so good. So good. Markovic has also done well in training. I'm going to praise his training. And also, DJ's done okay. 7.9 for him. It's not like the craziest, training performance in the world. But worth giving him a little bit of recognition. And, well, he appreciates it. So just looking at things as they are, Maulida is the only transfer we have right now going on. Of course, we've got Freitas, who's going to be joining us in, the end of next season, actually, in a little over a calendar year. We've got Rodrigo Antonio, who's going to be joining us on my birthday next year. Happy birthday to me. It's going to be a good birthday. Then the other players, we've got David Diaz is going to join us in January. He looks like a very, very good Colombian centre-back. Joseph Johnson, young Nigerian under-20s goalkeeper, looks great. And we also have Petrenko as well, who's the Russian keeper, who looks very, very talented too. He's going to join us next summer as well. So a few players for the future, at least right now. We looked at the transfer list. I do think it's worth just looking at players with contracts expiring in a year. Often these players you can get for, below their asking price. So it's worth just having a look at who might be available. For example, someone like Nakajima, I've had lots of very good experiences with this guy. He's a very, very good little squad player. I mean, you can see here how well suited he is as an inside forward. He's only 25. He has very, very low wages. He could be a player worth signing. We'll get a scout report on him. Casey Palmer kind of looks okay for Chelsea. I'm going to be honest. A little underwhelmed. Marlos Moreno of Man City. Never heard of this guy. Is that bad? Should I have heard of him? Please do let me know. Anoma's a very good player in FM, but he's not quite of our calibre. I feel like we're a step above what we were a little while ago. Let's just up the maximum age to 29 and see if any extra players get thrown up who are kind of super exciting and worth jumping up and down and screaming about. Schürrle, age 29, probably not that interesting. Denis Suarez would be an interesting option, but I don't think he adds anything to the team that we don't already have. He's very similar to Aouar and Olmo, who are kind of already backups for us. João Mario is an interesting one. I quite like João Mario a couple of years ago. I don't feel like he's as good as he once was in Football Manager. At least in this save, he's not as good as I remember him being. Moreira's available. See, he would be a pretty good striker, wouldn't he? See, I like DJ. I do. But am I ready for him to be our third choice striker behind Gabels and Keane? That's what I've got to consider here. Is he ready? Am I ready to play him there? It's a tricky one. Moreira's quite old. I guess he's 29. Good bit of experience. Could be a good potential, potential tutor. Also, I believe Mali doesn't count as foreign. Oh, he has French secondary nationality anyway. I didn't even realise that. Oh, he would be a good little addition, to be fair. If we can't get Maolida, Marega could be the next best thing. I would like to believe that we will be able to make the Maolida deal happen. But I probably need to move some players on if I do want it to happen, and I'm not sure who we can actually realistically move on. And Neda here, you're going to be in the reserve team, I'm afraid, and you're going to be available for the under-19s as well. You're not quite first team ready, I don't think. I just need the board to start giving me a bit more of this money that we've amassed to spend. I'm really hoping that they will give me it. We're still kind of feeling the hangover from the fact that we did take a little bit of a hit on the finances earlier on last season. As a result, they kind of lowered the the transfer percentage of revenue retained. I would like to think that they're going to realise that we have lots of money spare and give it me to spend sooner rather than later. I did notice earlier, by the way, that a few of the players we offered out who were agreeing deals kind of rejected the offers that they had, which is a bit annoying because there's a few players who I would quite like to sell, like Bard, who, as you can see, rejected the offer to go to Monaco. We'll keep an eye on Soleil and see if he ends up going to Lens. If he does, it would be useful because he's not on the smallest amount of wages. But anyway, I think it's time to kick off our season. We're going to be at home to Rennes to start. Obviously, we've already kind of gone through our team selection a little bit. A few players missing for us, a few not 100% fit, but I think we've got to chance them here. Bertrand Traore, how long have you got left until you're fully fit? Okay, apparently you can pass the fitness test. I'm just wondering if I want Olmo and Awar on the bench. I feel like Olmo's the easier player of the two to drop. I just feel like they're both quite similar, and it gives us just an opportunity then to have Saint-Maximin on the bench. Between Saint-Maximin, Bertrand Traore and DJ, we kind of then have our strike force sorted, I feel like. But anyway, let's see how we get on. They are playing a very, very defensive system, Rennes. They are not going to be easy to break down, but we're going to give it our utmost and just do our best. And that's all I can really expect. Hopefully we can get this season off to a bang, though. We're under pressure, I feel like, to match last year's performances, and that is not going to be easy. Don't think it can be understated just how successful last year was. I mean, in many ways, it's going to be impossible to match or exceed what we achieved last year in terms of the double of the League and the Champions League. The Champions League is always difficult to win. We really did go on a heroic run through. And then for the League, well, when you look at PSG's team, it's going to be tricky. If we could win one of those two, it would be an amazing season still. And well, if Tanguy Ndombele can score more goals like that, it's not going to be out of the realms of possibility. What a lovely finish that was by him. Ferland Mendy been accredited with the assist. Just plays the ball across here, square. Ndombele, loads of space. They are playing that narrow 5 at the back system, Rennes. And if their system and plan going into this match was to play super defensive and hit us once on the break, that goal is going to kind of wreck those plans. I wonder if they will, continue to use the 5 at the back. I mean, cue them to score now with their first attack of the game. They do have it here with Lax out. How's his back to goal kind of been forced to run away? Ball played forward now. That is a shocking miss by Lenglet. And it's through to Mbaye Niang. Is that Niang as in former AC Milan player who was a wonder kid in FM for many, many years? It is. What a career he's had. He's moved around for a fair wad of cash through the years in this save. But yeah, I think that was Lenglet there who missed a crucial header, a very uncharacteristic error. I mean, that is shocking. He's been a bit unhappy as of late. Maybe it's affecting his performances on the pitch. Just as a reminder, he wants a wage rise from £50,000 to £100,000 a week. So missing interceptions like that probably going to impact your chance to get a new deal. Anyway, you can see penalty potentially been given. We're going to VAR. It was a push in the back on Wallace at the back post from the corner. At first glance, I think it looked like a penalty, although I might be a little bit biased. Let's see if the referee with VAR agrees. He makes the VAR gesture and he points to the spot. It's going to be Fekir to take it for us. He's kind of become renowned for his penalties. Can he add another one to his collection today? He can. Tucks it away. I mean, 3 goals in the first 7 minutes. It's an entertaining start to the season, even if it's not one that leaves me particularly happy in terms of the fact we've conceded so early on. I guess by the same token, if I'm going to be unhappy about the fact we've been kind of conceding a goal within the first 10 minutes, I probably need to be happy about the fact we've scored 2 in the same period of time. Anyway, chance here for us. Eder Militao at right back, running down, goes inside to Ndombele. Now with Fekir, now with Trincao. Nice build-up play here. Can there be an end product? Can there be a spark? Oh my gosh, Trincao almost scored a screamer. An insane run by him. Maybe the danger ain't over yet. Goes to Eder Militao at right back. He dinks it in for Memphis, who, well, isn't going to get on the end of that. Not the best ball into the box. Good little opportunity for us. Trincao just with the maraudering run. Really confident play from him to even take on the shot there. Unfortunately for us, the keeper did get a very, very strong hand to it in the end. And was able to parry it wide. And well, from there, it's kind of just tamed out now, hasn't it? It's all got a bit boring. Not boring. Boring's not the right word. It's fizzled out, though. 3 goals in the first 7 minutes. We've not had any more in the last 30. Although there is a chance here. We're ending up playing the ball around the back. We are applying pressure very high up the pitch. Maybe trying to get an error out of them. But they've worked it nicely, to be fair. And now they have Niang through again, who shoots. What a save that is by Lopez in goal. Massive, massive stop by the Portuguese giant between the sticks. Memphis brings the ball forward. I'm just wondering, I don't know if I set to compile match reports on all of the different players we have out on loan. We should do that after this game. If I forget to do it during this episode, please do remind me in the comments. I require it. Trincao, I mean, that's a good goal. He's got his first of the season, and it's not a bad one at all. Hits it hard, hits it low. It's a set piece. You almost expect Fekir to bang it in and score, but no, he goes short to Memphis. He lays it to Trincao. 2 touches to get it out of his feet, just wiggles through and makes some space, and slots it home. Definitely think the keeper could have done a little better there, but we're not going to complain one little bit. We are up by 2 goals now. At half-time, that is going to be the scoreline. I'm going to get a little shouty at the players and tell them I'm far from pleased, despite the fact that we are winning 2-0. The fact we've conceded a goal in itself is disappointing. To concede it so early on in the season, 6 minutes into our season, for a team that has in the past prided itself on its defensive kind of records. I don't know, I feel conflicted. If we could get a 4th, I'd feel less conflicted. We might have a chance here. Trincao out on the right. Go back to Eder Militao. No nonsense. What can Militao do now? Goes inside to Fekir. Toussaint now with it. Patient play here, just waiting for the right opportunity. Now with Mendy on the left, he crosses it in. Gabels is there, heads it just over the crossbar. Of course, he scored for us in the Trophée des Champions. I'd love for him to get his first league goal of the season today, just to get that monkey off his back. Not that the monkey's really on his back at the moment, but it could appear there at any moment, and just as a safety precaution, a first goal of the season would probably help him a little bit. Anyway, there's a highlight here. It's 1 big ball at the pitch to Niang. The keeper is going to get the assist. Questionable defending. Doesn't quite cover what we've seen there, I don't feel like. He's run to the halfway line to celebrate. It's like he went to celebrate back with the keeper, then got so far and realised it was a terrible idea. But, well, Niang through. Eder Militao, I don't know if he's just completely misread that. Either way, I'm not sure what our defensive positioning was. We kind of got caught in the transition a little bit. Eder Militao and Wallace the wrong way round, and as a result, the striker was just completely unmarked. Back to a 1-goal margin. We need a goal here just to settle things down. Can we get it? Cleared away as far as Toussaint. With Mendy now. They've had 3 shots and scored 2 goals. Gabels is there. Nice header. Hits the woodwork. I mean, they've had 3 clear-cut chances there, just hitting us on the break repeatedly. With that in mind, we're going to switch to the controlling system, I think. Just the kind of more possession-orientated 4-2-3-1. I'm hoping that will limit the opportunities that Rennes have to hit us on the break. Let's also make some changes here. I'm going to bring in Lucas Romero in placement of Toussaint, who's on a booking and hasn't played that great. We'll bring in DJ as well for Gabels. He's been quiet. I'm also going to take off Memphis Depay. And I'm going to bring on Saint-Maximin out on that left-hand side. Triple change with half an hour left. We'll now hope to avoid injuries and sendings off. Andre with it. Goes wide now to Laxalt. His effort was blocked, and that shot by Gelin was not far wide of the mark at all. I mean, Red are not making this easy, are they? They are making us battle for it. We have another set piece here. Fakir whips it in. Lengler over the crossbar. Had a real opportunity there to make amends for his error for the first goal. Unfortunately, the effort was lacking, to say the very least. His header over the crossbar was not close enough at all in the end. I mean, let's just try and hold on for the win at this point, it almost feels like, is the thing to say. At this point, any win would be good. 1 goal margin is a little nervy. We can't make any more changes. Let's just demand more from the players for the last 4 minutes. We have a highlight here. Fakir whips it in. Wallace, free header to St. Maximin. He looked off. He looked off to me. We'll go to VAR, but I'm confident that this is going to be chalked off here. Of course, the linesman is advised not to raise his flag in, well, you can see there. It was offside. The linesman didn't raise his flag. He waited for VAR to just review it. It was offside. It wasn't even close, was it, in the end? I mean, the good news is it looks like we are going to win this game now, barring a miracle. The bad news is it's only a 1 goal margin. I mean, maybe I shouldn't speak too soon. Wanfran here, surely not. Lenglet gets it clear. Mendy, no nonsense. That will do us. Wasn't pretty, but we have got all 3 points. Unfortunately, PSG not starting off the season by slipping up. Although Monaco did lose, so we've got that going for us. We had 40 shots in that game. On another day, we'd just dismantle them. Unfortunately, on this occasion, our finishing wasn't necessarily the best. Anyway, you can see actually we have got a few of the players with the scout reports going on. Good to see Durand starting in goal at 16 years old, playing regular Ligue 1 football, albeit for the whipping boys of this kind of season, is going to be good for us. Anyway, let's just make sure when it comes to these players that we're getting match reports on them all. I need to know how Shadas is doing this year. He's at a bigger team this year in Gungam, so I'm hoping that he is going to, well, prove his worth. But yeah, let's make sure that we're getting match reports on all the players. I think all the other players we are already getting kind of reports on based on what I just saw. But I don't know, things are going okay. Wasn't the best result against PSG, but we've bounced back reasonably well. Not blown away by it, but it will do us, I think, is probably the best way of thinking about it. We also need to rest our players ahead of the game against Barcelona. I do think we will do that game against Barca next time out. I'm feeling very, very tired today, to the point where I'm almost like shutting my eyes and worried I'm going to fall asleep whilst recording, which isn't ideal, especially because it's only 6:30 in the afternoon. I need to get a coffee in me. I'm recording earlier than usual. I've not hit the second wind yet, but no, I think the Barcelona game would be a good little game to kick off next episode with. Gabels gets the wage hike due to the number of games he's played. Can we ask the board for more money yet in the transfer budget? I'm going to be checking it on like a daily basis. But given, I don't know, our current finances, I feel like it's just something that we should be able to do, is get a bit more money from somewhere. Anyway, Soleil is going to leave us for 190k. That's an okay amount of money to receive. I'm just wondering with budget adjustments. I was wondering if with budget adjustments we could get close enough to the deal that we were looking at for, is it Maulida? I'm trying to remember the guy's name now. Is it bad that I don't remember it? It's not great. Is it Maulida? It's Maulida, isn't it? I don't know why I'm doubting myself so much. But yeah, we don't quite still have the money for him. We don't have any clauses we can sell either. I really need the board just to give me some cash. Oh, we can ask for an increased wage budget. Tell you what we'll do here. We'll be a bit cheeky. We will put all the money into the transfer budget so our wage budget is lower, and then ask for more wage budget. I actually don't know if this makes a difference. I feel like it does in my head. I can't stress how important I believe this to be. We're going to be left behind by our rivals. I mean, that is concerning, the fact they don't want to give me more money. I do not know how we can ever compete with PSG this year. Anyway, Lucas Romero. We could give him injections for the game and he'd be out for 1 to 2 days. Or we could send him to the physio and he would be out for 1 to 2 days. You know what? We'll just give him injections because there's nothing to lose off that. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself. Very rare that I actually inject players. It's an unusual icon to see. It's not one that you see every day in Football Manager. But I don't know. I feel like we're in an okay spot in terms of the squad now. If we didn't make any more signings, I wouldn't be too concerned. I do feel like Maulida as a striker is a player that we could have in our team and that would actually fit in. Obviously, we are going to have Moise Kien back, which is good news because we do miss him a little bit. He turned into a good little goal scorer for us last year. Popped it up with some big ones and, of course, got the assist in the Champions League final in that 1-0 win. But anyway, we'll think about that Barcelona game next time out. I'm really hoping that we get the opportunity to ask for some more transfer budget sooner rather than later. We have £161 million in the bank, so you'd kind of feel like it's on the cards and it's something we can do, and maybe it's just a waiting game to find out when it's going to be possible. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up everything from me today. Hopefully you have enjoyed as always. If you have, do drop a like on today's video. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. And, well, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.